Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi. We're excited to be here again.
I know.
Yeah, and happy Capricorn Full Moon and last day of Cancer season.
That's right. There's a lot going on.
Yeah,
On.
definitely. So many astrological things. We have a chart to talk about today, and we have another great story. Really excited about tonight. Um, I do have just a quick thing. The sales for the Speed Reading 2.0 audience member tickets are on sale now on the website. So, super excited about this. There are 4 different sessions. So, when you buy the pass, you get a pass for all 4. There are no replays, it's only live, but there is a great variety of when the readings are taking place. They've got some on Thursdays, one on a Saturday, I know like a Tuesday evening as well. And I think the other one is a Wednesday afternoon. All within the next couple weeks. I want to say, oh gosh, what is the date of the first one? I want to say it's coming up here in August. Hold on, I have it.
Because I think it's in. I know it's
August 8th.
August. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got August 8th, August 14th, August 17th, and August 20th. So super excited for all of those and to watch. From watching them last time, I learned so much from just watching Thomas and Robert read other people's charts. It's very, very cool to have their perspective. And I love watching group readings and to have the person there like replying to these things that they're saying about their chart and how they feel about it, and maybe even adding on to the story or creating just more depth into what Thomas and Robert are talking about. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, and so I participated in the last one,
Yeah.
and so this time I'm looking forward to getting to observe them. But I would say that one of the things that really caught me off guard, and if there's anybody that's maybe like considering it, not sure, I I wasn't expecting it to be such an amazing learning opportunity from
Mm-hmm.
Thomas and Robert, which we get to listen to them all the time on so many of these different podcasts, and they do a great job of like responding to our questions and allowing us to interact that way. But this is like, it's more than just observing their process. They really engage the people that they are reading for in like, I don't want to make it sound like a classroom because it's not a classroom, but it is such a cool learning experience. And they both have
Totally.
different ways that they look at a chart. And so you get both of
Mm-hmm.
those. And I just thought it was I learned so much. I got my reading out of it, which was phenomenal. But then I also learned so much, and I did not expect that. So I can't wait this time to get to observe and just pick up those pieces of seeing these two in action on a live reading. And sometimes there's a curveball that gets thrown out or something that's not expected when you've got that two-way dialogue, and seeing them navigate through that was just, it was really, really cool for those people that are learning astrology and want to take their practice up a notch. I think it's an experience you don't get from reading a book or attending a class. Like, this is a real life experience watching two people dissect a chart.
Totally. I enjoyed watching all of them last time, and this time I decided that I wanted a seat and to be a part of the actual reading as well. So I'm super excited. I will be in the last session. So if anybody else is in the 20th, I'm excited to have a session with you. It is very, very exciting. I love watching these two work together. It's very
Yeah.
cool.
And for those of you that signed up for a session, I just want to say, when you get the invitation to participate,
Yeah,
participate. Like, they mean it. They don't
totally.
mean like, it's honestly an open invitation. And for me, I know, Kristin, you and I talked a little bit after my session. I felt like I participated. And sometimes it's scary. Something pops into your mind and you doubt yourself, but the only way you get to learn is by throwing it out there. And like, never doubt your intuition. There's not a right
Totally.
or a wrong here. If there's an idea you have, chase it, pull on the thread, see where it goes. And to have, be able to collaborate with these two guys on your chart, is such a cool experience. So participate if you are signed up to be a participant, not just in your reading, but in everybody's. There, it's an open invitation to do that, and it's such a cool experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know like Robert is going to be using the consultation chart, and that is one of my favorite techniques. I actually use that on every client when I do readings and have been for a while. Actually, anybody in the Chicagoland area, I am doing a free talk Friday, actually, in Chicago on the consultation chart. And just a little intro. Of course, anybody who's wanting to learn horary and the whole consultation chart at a full, definitely look for Robert's course through the Fun Astrology website. It's how I have taken most of my knowledge for horary. It is really, really great. And
Such
so
a
yeah,
great
so
course.
yeah, anybody in Chicago, hit me up on Discord and I'll give you the information. I already posted the link in there if anybody is in the Discord. But
Very cool.
yeah, hi Kathleen. Oh, Kathleen had an
Cool.
amazing
Had an amazing.
experience. Yeah, during her group reading. Very cool. Yeah, I
That
love.
seems to be the common feedback. You know, it seems like everybody was really kind of blown away by their experience in the group reading sessions.
Yeah, those group reading sessions are just so cool, and I think that it's just such a great learning tool to watch them work.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially, I mean, you get 22 minutes or something like that, and you can go through so many questions in that amount of time. So, I think that was one of the things that Robert has said, that he was surprised at how much they were actually able to cover in a short amount of time. He's used to long readings, but I think to kind of have it as a group session and have other people's feedback and everything too, it keeps them on the ball.
Yeah, I have to say, like, when I read for clients, my typical live, like, in-person readings, or if I do them over Zoom, they're normally about an hour, and we go
Yeah.
all over the place sometimes. But I think
Yep.
because with the way the group reading is set up, you come with a specific, like, I want to look at this, and you kind of premeditated, you thought about it, they looked at it. And so you really hone right into that spot to start with. And you really maximize those 22 minutes because you know exactly what you're looking at.
Yeah, for sure. So speaking of charts, let's look at tonight's.
Yeah.
So here is the moment for when we started this. 7 o'clock. This is Chicago, so where I am. So as you could see, the sun is at 29 degrees, 41 minutes. So we are really down to the final hours of Cancer season, which is
That's right.
as
It's
a
about to be
Cancer
those
sun.
Leo's favorite month.
Yeah, as a Cancer sun myself, it's like officially birthday season over. But as a Leo rising, I am excited to have that sun and ascendant conjunction, which actually for me is perfects on the day of the group reading that I'll be
Oh,
doing on
that's
the
so
20th.
cool.
Yeah, isn't that a fun
I
aspect?
love that.
So actually, the last time I had seen Robert was at a convention in Chicago, and on that day I had a Mars ascendant exact conjunction.
Wow.
And now this coming reading together, I'll have the Sun conjunction. So
That's
very
crazy.
cool things. But we are in the second Capricorn full moon of this year, which is really kind of rare. Not very often that we get the double signs. I don't know that this would be considered technically a blue moon because it doesn't happen in the same like monthly span, but it is kind of a astrological blue moon, really having
Yeah.
that double sign going on. This one in particular, as you could see, the moon is very close to Pluto. And so I think that with some of this, we can have a little extra, Cancer season as well as full moons tend to be a little more emotionally powered during this time. But I think having Pluto there as well can be something that, that in tenfold. And I think that, especially as you could see, Mars has just ingressed into Gemini yesterday. I talked about that on the podcast on Thursday, but the ingress happened yesterday, and it is also trining that 0 degree Pluto as well. And so very, very active Pluto in this chart for today.
Yeah,
So
and I was
transformation.
I was doing a little bit of just research because I think it is so interesting that we had the two Capricorn moons, full moon, so close together.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an astrologer that I listen to who mentions that she likes to look at it as it's our invitation to really embrace that sign's energy the second time around. Like, what did we
Mm-hmm.
maybe not pay attention to or overlook or kind of ignore, neglect the first full moon energy of that Capricorn that we had, in this case Capricorn. And it's like another invitation to say, hey, don't run from this, like this is important for you. And when we look at like the signs, especially with like your full moon and what's in the sun, I know the signs always kind of have some juxtaposition to themselves, but I always think of like the Cancer Capricorn relationship as being such an interesting one. It's probably because my husband and both my kids, my husband's a Cancer sun and both my kids have Cancer placements in their big three, and I'm a Capricorn moon. And so I feel, and I don't have any Cancer in my chart whatsoever. I mean, we all have it, but you know what I mean? No placements there. And I just think the energies can be so, I don't want to say oppositional in a sense. Cancer is kind of that homebody, that safety, that nurturer, that just that watery fluid energy. And Capricorn is just that earth, to-do lists, achievement focused, kind of just a go-getter in a sense, in like get out of my way, like not necessarily a nurturer type energy. And so having it is the second time this month. I was just doing a little bit of reading on like the Capricorn energy that we're being invited into as we're about to leave Cancer. Like, we're still in that Cancer kind of glow, right? And so as we're about to leave, and I have this, if it's okay, I have this book about some of the different signs, and I just wanted to share because I just think this spoke to me a lot for how this Cancer season is coming to an end. And so I figure it might fit for some other people too. So Capricorn has an inherent sense of duty and a practical, disciplined approach to life. Saturn ruled, it's linked to anything time earned, be it authority, achievement, or tradition. These are goal-oriented beings who need to accomplish tangible things through honest hard work. They are very ambitious, mostly because they feel intrinsically responsible, but also because they desire well-earned respect. Every triumph has been steadily nurtured in a framework of their own making. It's vital these people have a sense of purpose and are prone to depression when it wavers. The Capricorn shadow can become lost in material and in the material and overly serious. It can be relentless, self-contained, and unfeeling. However, when living in full integrity, these are spiritual wizards disguised as straight-laced high achievers. Capricorn pushes its people into building life brick by brick, and with this wisdom, a skeleton is formed, the scaffolding through which spirit is experienced on earth. And I just loved that description, thinking about coming through this Cancer season. For me, at least, it's been an uncharacteristically busy time for me between family vacations and work and real estate and my astrology and all that. It's been really, really busy, and I haven't had a lot of time to ground myself for my spiritual practice, for those things that kind of keep me feeling whole. And I've been really sucked into some more of this like Capricornian shadow side. When I read this part about it can become self-contained, unfeeling, overly serious. And I kind of used that as a magnifying glass in my own kind of situation, and thought, as I gear up for Leo energy, kind of that being a little bit more, I don't want to say fun, but free-spirited, maybe a little bit more lively, really finding that better balance there for me. And that's kind of what this full moon shed a light on for me personally, is where have I gotten overly serious, and what do I want to let go of as I move into Leo season and get to take advantage of that, the sun being at home and just that really fun self-expression energy. And so I really thought that highlighted it nicely, what some of us might be feeling during this full moon, especially with some of the other aspects that are going on right now.
Yeah, totally. It is such a different, I think, dynamic than some of the other oppositions that Cancer Capricorn. But I understand because actually that's mine and my husband's dynamic too, me being a Cancer sun,
Mm-hmm.
him being a Capricorn sun. And so I do think with an opposition, it's like you are looking at um, the same modalities as well as harmonious um elements, and but it's like that opposition does call for balance. But I think with the full moon, it's also a celebrating time and to celebrate things that have gone right and making those adjustments of things that you might need to. And you are right with the double. I think that that's a really good way of putting it, is saying, things that have happened between now and the last Capricorn full moon, to just, make sure you're not missing anything, and celebrate those things within the Capricorn house in your chart that have gone right.
Absolutely. It's a good
Yeah.
time for celebration and acknowledgement
Yeah.
and just knowing where you went right, right?
Definitely. Oh, Capricorn Venus. Very cool. Very close to this full moon. Awesome.
My Venus is also in Capricorn. I have a whole bunch of stuff in Capricorn. So even though I'm a Sagittarius sun and my rising is in Libra, I think I have 4 planets in Capricorn. Um, so I feel Capricorn energy all the time. My
A
Venus,
nice stellium.
Mercury, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Uh-huh.
exactly.
Oh, another Capricorn moon and Venus. Awesome.
Yep. So I'm sure you're feeling it too, Kathleen.
Venusian twins. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah, tis the season. Um All right, should we get into some cards? I know we had a
Yeah.
couple other ones too. I don't think we have anything else on the for the chart, do we?
Before we move off of it, I just want to touch on what we were talking about before the call briefly. Um, you know, we had some pretty big political news today, and
Oh,
not
yeah.
to get into the politics behind it, but just Kristen and I were talking, and in our lifetime, and I would venture to say in many of our lifetimes, what we're seeing here on the political front is really unprecedented. Like, we haven't seen, those of you that don't know, we saw today that Biden will not be running for second term for
Mhm.
presidency. And Kristen, you brought up a couple interesting points. I wanted to see if you wanted to point out in the chart where you kind of saw some of that energy uh,
Yeah,
popping up.
I think with Mars making that ingress into Gemini and that trine to the Pluto and Aquarius can definitely speak to some of that energy, having the fact that that trine has perfected today, especially when I know that Biden is a Scorpio. So some of that strong Mars energy can definitely affect his chart. I can't remember offhand what his rising is, and I don't know if there is an accurate chart for him anyway. But I do know that he is a Scorpio sun. And so having that Mars trine Pluto, I think with Pluto it is an ending as well as a new
Mm.
beginning. And, having him drop out of the race, this is an ending for him, especially with him endorsing Kamala Harris now.
Hmm.
He has definitely taken a back seat, and the dynamic between that Mars and Gemini, especially it being a divided sign. I mean, essentially he's having to step down because they don't see a future where he is one.
Right. I mean, it is a story of division, right? And so
Hmm.
it's just so interesting when you mentioned today about Mars and Gemini, and I was just like, wow, that it's you can't necessarily not we wouldn't have predicted this yesterday looking at it like, oh, this is going to happen, but once it happens and you can look in the rearview mirror, this is where astrology just really comes to life for me. It's like
Yeah.
we're not necessarily supposed to use it to predict everything that's going to happen, but it certainly does make a lot of sense when the energies line up like that. And yeah, that was a big lineup. And then for anybody that saw today, Thomas dropped an episode regarding the energy in the sky last Saturday. when we had the news for Trump and the attempted
Mhm.
assassination. And again, it's just so interesting to me to listen to how these energies can be translated when we have an event like that that is so unexpected and again unprecedented. And it's just here we are again with more political news that lines up in our energies for the day.
Yeah, and, you know, with Mars kind of being the heavy hitter for that assassination attempt as well, with, you know, Mars making that conjunction to Uranus and kind of being in that energy, you know, still in that conjunction now, but, yeah, it is a change though, having it move to Gemini. I think that it does become more of an ideas front rather than a physical, you know, we're moving from that earth to air, and I think that now that there's going to be a little bit of a debate on who is going to end up on the ballot, and you know we'll kind of be watching that over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, if nothing else, it definitely makes for if anybody is feeling this, it's just kind of like a shaky sense of our foundation because it's these things that we've maybe taken for granted that this is always the way things go. This year has been nothing like we've traditionally seen in a standard election year for the United States. I mean, it has just, and we're I hate to say it, but we're just getting started. Like we're just heating
Hmm.
up, right? And so
Yeah.
who knows what's going to happen between now and November and then January. And but it definitely it's definitely an interesting time for, I think we know Pluto has been making some really significant movements this year and is continuing to do it, and we're seeing a lot
Hmm.
of interesting aspects. And when you call out Pluto being that transformational, that symbol for endings, it really is interesting to see how this is all playing out.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I mean, I think that you made a really good point too, and just wording it the way that we've never seen a standing president drop out of a race like this. You know, I think that within our lifetime, this is new territory for sure. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I mean, we're
yeah,
talking about 8 days between an attempted assassination and a presidential dropout. That's a lot for us to all just, no matter where you stand and how you feel, just for our country, it's just a lot of really big headline news in a very
yeah,
short time frame.
totally. Yeah, yep, definitely. Um, yeah, and especially, you know, as August continues and Mars kind of reaches Jupiter, you know, I think the news is only going to get bigger, as that's
Yeah,
what
that's what
Jupiter
Jupiter does.
that's what
Yeah.
Jupiter does. So it'll
Right.
definitely be something to watch. And you know, of course we will be back here on the 4th too. So maybe even some more things that we could kind of discuss and evaluate, because the way things have been moving fast, you never know what
Should
could
have
we be
plenty.
covering on the chart. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because we wouldn't have imagined it'd be this. So who
And
knows
yeah,
what will
no,
happen by then.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, another Sag sun and moon, Libra
Oh,
rising as well.
oh,
Very
we're
cool.
almost twins all the way together.
Oh, have any views on Chiron retrograde having their return? Um, any retrograde planet, I like to either look at it as you're having to do like reevaluations around the house theme or the sign theme that planet is, well, asteroid is natally in, or it tends to be a very strong internal energy if it is a retrograded either planet or asteroid. um Again, related back to the house and sign in the chart, but retrograde I do like to define as either a reevaluating that is constantly happening or an internal. Now, you can, if you're doing like secondary progressions or anything like that, you can actually watch a planet, depending on the planet and depending on when you're born, move forward. And so you can kind of like gauge like somebody moving into like direct energy, but that would be something that you would have to like self evaluate from your chart. Secondary
Yeah.
progressions is really interesting just because it is like the progression and the growth of a person's chart.
Mm-hmm. I always think of retrograde too. I'm such a visual person, so you're going to have to get used to me with all of the weird analogies. But like, if you're thinking of like when you vacuum the floor, you know how like you vacuum forward and then you pull back on it to like get whatever you missed, and then
Totally.
you go
That's
to
a
your next
really,
space and you vacuum it back. That's how I
yeah.
imagine retrograding for anything. But with Chiron coming up, seeing where it is, especially because it can be so internal, and it can be those areas in our life where we've needed to really heal and move forward and let go. And it's like, to me, it's almost an invitation of like, what did you push through? But maybe you need to pull back and get those last couple remaining bits that you overlooked that were deeper in the carpet than you realized.
Totally. I actually really like that analogy a lot. And it makes me think, okay, so for Mercury, we've already gone through the first pass, and soon we're in the first pass right now, and then soon it's going to be backing up and going over that same spot again, and then third pass where we're actually doing an integration and it's actually clean.
Right? Because you can't go to the next until you get that backward pull.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's actually a really great analogy. I like that. Oh, you're so welcome. All right, perfect. So let's I think now we're done with the charts. Let's get into our cards and then we can start the meditation.
Perfect.
All right, so I'm just going to touch on mine really quick just because I feel like we did cover it quite a bit in the chart, because that is how that works out. But I have the Ace of Swords. And so the three key words for this are clarity, pure power, and breakthrough. And isn't that so Pluto? So Pluto. I think that especially with the Pluto Mars trine perfecting today, it is a wonderful time for transformation. And in the podcast on Thursday, I talked a lot about Mars being in Gemini and really being aware of your words, and both words that you say, but also internal dialogue as well. Words are weapons, and we're talking about Mars, and Mars can be a little brash. And I think that having the awareness, and Pluto can definitely give that to you. And so making the changes now, especially when Pluto is in that positive trine to Mars, rather than when Mars starts to get into some of the stickiness that it'll be in with the Jupiter conjunction, as well as the squares to Saturn and Venus. When you get to that point, it might be a little bit more difficult to start making those integrations.
Yeah, I love that, and it fits this card that I pulled from the Moon deck. Like, you would have thought we teed this up on purpose because it's just crazy. So this is the Moon deck, in case anybody is curious about the card I'm pulling tonight. And I love pulling these when the moon is full. And this one says, "Now is a time to integrate all that I have gathered." So it's like integration is just the theme of all of this.
Yeah.
And what I love about this, and let me just see, I wanted to say if there was anything in here. So integrate is obviously the key word. And says, if you feel like you're not ready yet, know that you do indeed have something special to share, and that you can make a positive impact with all that you already are. Now is the time. And I was talking a little bit with Kristin ahead of time for this. And the full moon always brings me back to this message. I mentioned it even, I think, the last time we were talking, that we celebrate the moon when she's full once a month, typically. And I don't know about you guys, whenever I go outside and I see the full moon, like I stop, I pause, I point, I take pictures. It's like every time it's like the first time I've ever seen it full. I'm such a moon nerd when it comes to that. I just love it. But I think the invitation when the moon shows us her fullness is to remind us that she's always full. It's just our perception of her that changes. And so even in the darkness, when there is no moon present, it's not that it shrunk or it disappeared. It's just that we can't perceive it because it's sharing the sky with the sun and all the things. And, but the moon is still always full. And it's such a metaphor for our personal journey here as humans, because
Mhm.
we go through phases of life where, for lack of a better way to say it, we feel fuller sometimes than we do other times. There are times in our life where everything, going back to the last time we met when I talked about spinning plates, all those plates are spinning, everything's dialed in, we're on top of our game in our relationships and with our family and our work. And, when you just, those moments of just like, yeah, like, I've got it. And then sometimes it can be the next day, and it doesn't even have to be a big event, but it's just a plate falls and you just don't have it anymore. And that's when that negative self talk, Kristen, you were just talking about with this, being cautious right now of what we're saying in that internal dialogue, that belief that we're not enough, or that we
Mhm.
aren't full, or that we don't have enough to offer starts to sneak in, and we can really start to believe that about ourselves. And it brings me to a scene in one of my favorite kids movies. So I'm hoping that some of you that are listening have seen this movie before. If not, hopefully this endorsement makes you go watch it. But it is Toy Story 4. And so Pixar is one of those, just the way they do their movies. They're one of the few franchises I feel like when they do a sequel, it's like they have more to say. Like the sequels continue to build, and Toy Story 4 is probably my favorite Toy Story.
Mhm.
I think there's a 5 coming out that I'm really excited for. But 4 is my
Yeah.
favorite, and it's because of one character. It is Forky, that adorable little plastic fork that the kid turns into a toy by adding like a pipe cleaner and some googly eyes, and it comes to life, and it's with the other toys, with Woody and Buzz and all the other toys coming to life, and this great Toy Story magic. And the only thing it can think about is that it's trash. And all the other toys, especially Woody, are trying to convince Forky that no, you're a toy, because our kid thinks you're a toy, our kid loves you, our kid wants you in her backpack, like you're a toy. And all Forky can think of is that they're trash, because that's all that they think of their individual pieces. That's all that they've been programmed to believe. And there's this great scene that lives rent free in my mind. I don't try to evict it. I love it, so it's fine, where the kid is sleeping with Forky on the pillow, and Forky keeps waking up and jumping and like diving itself into a trash can. And Woody's waiting there in the trash can to like throw it back onto the bed so that, Woody doesn't get it. Like it doesn't make sense, but he knows that the kid loves this Forky. So it's like, no, you're a toy. Like get back up there, get back up there. And at the end of the movie, there's a spoon, I think, that's introduced, or some other plastic utensil that thinks it's trash. And Forky kind of goes up to her and it's like, no, toy. Like it finally has that self belief that, oh, I'm not trash, I'm a toy. And I think that that is so symbolic for us as humans, because how many times in our life do we feel like we're trash, right? Like that what we have to contribute to the world or to the collective, to our friends and our family isn't enough. It's just not a big enough offering. And who are out in our lives, where are our Woodies at that are continuously throwing us back up onto the bed, out of the trash and onto the bed, and just letting us know that no, you're not trash. Like you are valuable, you are worthy, we see value in you. And the moon is like our Woody right now, right? Like the moon is the one that's saying, like, you are a treasure to be valued. You are whole all the time, just like I am. And it's really that invitation every time there's a full moon, to me, to just bathe in that fullness, for not just what we have outside, but also what we create for ourselves inside, like internally. Like bathe in your fullness and just know that you are enough and you are worthy, and that you are never ever trash. And so I just wanted to share that tonight, because I just thought it so beautifully tied in with all of the things we've been talking about.
Yeah, I was, as soon as you brought up Forky and kind of like the underlying, just mindset of the toy and everything, it really made me think of Woody and just like the growth through the 4 movies, and
Mm-hmm.
how he like really, really struggled with like not being the favorite, to then, him sitting in the trash and throwing the spork back up onto the bed.
Right.
And it had this question in my head was, um do you enjoy the game, even if you're not winning. And just being able to be in it to have fun and not necessarily needing to be number one, you know?
I love that. And also really taking some time to calibrate what winning once looked like for you
Mhm.
evolves. You know,
Yeah,
so maybe for Woody, once upon a time, it was being the favorite, but is winning now just being a support for what the kid needs the
totally.
most at that time.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think we forget, and again, the full moon is a great invitation for that. We forget to reevaluate. Our goals are allowed to change. Our definition of winning, how we the standards we hold ourselves to, what we expect out of ourselves, they're allowed to change. They're supposed to change. And so
Mhm.
sometimes it's just this is an invitation to say, maybe I need to reset my goals a little bit. Like, you know, they don't have to be etched in stone. You can write them in pencil so you can erase and adjust as time goes on. And that's okay.
Totally. Even just the ability, I think, to see the bigger picture in the long run too, you know? And that's something that obviously we get better with age, just having more time that we can reflect on. And I think that personal growth in Woody kind of shows that as well.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So if you haven't seen Toy Story 4,
Yeah,
this gives
yeah,
you a new
we
perspective to go watch it with, right?
yes, start at number 1,
Such a great
highly
movie.
suggested. Uh, oh, Chiron and Aries in the 6th. Very cool. Okay, so lots of integration around your day-to-day habits and what those day-to-day routines, how they are affecting your body, your health, and just there is a lot of association with the 6th house being work, but mostly in the fact that you're doing that more days than not, not necessarily your role as a worker, but just the fact that, you know, you're constantly engaged in that environment. Um, oh, hi, Brenda, found us.
Oh,
Fail like a scientist.
I
I like
love
that.
that.
Yeah, they do get excited by failure because it means that you're closer to solving the problem. Yeah,
And what's
totally.
so funny, like in my throughout my life, I've had a couple different careers where I've led big groups of people, and I always get so excited and celebrate when they fail because it's that like a scientist, right? It's that one more step closer to finding the right step. But
Yeah,
when it comes to me, I need to be I need a Woody to remind me, like, hey, you know, it's okay. Like this is one step closer, and it's just so funny how we sometimes forget to give ourselves that same celebration, not even grace, but like that celebration that like, hey, you tried something. Like failing is the aftermath of getting out of your comfort zone and trying something.
totally.
And like I just feel like it's a good time to remind us all that we're about to step into some very powerful Leo energy, which
Mm,
is fantastic time to step out and try some things. So if you've got, you know, some
yeah,
especially creativeness, self-expression, so if there's something you've been sitting on, maybe, you know, that's taken a back seat that you want to bring forward, there's going to be some energy in the next coming weeks that will really help you kind of flow with that current of life, get in the fast lane. Like it will really help you propel that forward.
totally. Put your group of lines together and create a pride,
Hmm.
you know?
That's right.
Yeah,
I love that.
definitely. Yeah, perfect. All right. Should we get started on the
Yeah.
meditation? Let me grab. All right, our
Perfect.
beautiful beach scene. And you go ahead and start us off.
Perfect. So I'm going to invite everybody to start off by just taking 3 deep breaths. And as you do that, I want us to feel the ground in whatever way that is, wherever if it's your feet on the floor, if it's your, you know, butt in the seat, if it's your back on the bed or wherever you are getting comfortable and meditating. I just really want you to feel that contact with the ground and breathe into it. We'll take one more breath. Now tonight, as you allow your mind to wander, I want you to think of a happy place, of a place where you feel fully at home, fully at one with the universe, with nature. For me, that place is the beach. And when I meditate, I like to think of myself in front of the ocean, the vast ocean reaching up to me, the water offering to cleanse, to purify, to take back anything that no longer serves me. The wind that comes through that carries the ocean breeze, taking away any worries, any doubt, any obligations that I have. The summer sun down now as it set shortly before we got here, but blazing, tomorrow rising in that beautiful Leo energy. And finally, the ground beneath me, fully supported, completely safe. Now tonight, while you're in this space, I would like you to put a movie screen in your mind's eye. Just a blank canvas, whatever that looks like to you. And allow yourself, for just a minute, to project onto that screen some of the highlights in your life story over the last 30 days. What are some of the moments you've had where you have just felt connected, encouraged, loved, excited, secure? Those moments that just remind you that you are one with the universe, that you are made of stardust, that you are here with purpose. And as you watch those moments play, I would also invite you to explore the moments over the last 30 days or so, maybe since the summer started, where you haven't felt the same. Or maybe you were struggling like our friend Forky, feeling a little like what you're contributing isn't enough, that you aren't worthy. Allow some of those moments to flash in the screen and mix in with the others. Now, as that happens, I want to invite you to look at all of those moments in the glorious full moon spotlight as a reminder that each and every day we bring a vast amount of emotions to us. We all have our shadow sides. But just like the moon, we are always full. We are always enough. Take a deep breath in as you allow those scenes to light up in full glory, hiding nothing, because these are your moments. This is your life. And as those moments start to fade, I want you to repeat to yourself, either inside or out loud, I am always enough. I am always worthy. And I am always loved. And breathe that energy in. And let that energy flow out from your being. And one more time, and then we will take it even bigger than ourselves.
Now that we've raised our vibrations, we exist on a plane where there is no stress, no anxiety, no fear. When you're in your higher timeline, there can be no fear, because instead of the universe conspiring against you, it is conspiring for you. Being able to maneuver and work with the flows of the universe. This beautiful Capricorn full moon has brought you to a celebration point. And you are here to celebrate what you have done correctly. Feeling the powerful moments that you've just pictured. The joyous times that have filled your cup. Taking these feelings and these moments, feeling your vibration getting higher, existing on a plane where you attract these same vibrations. And you constantly are bringing in the same energy that you put out. So living in the moments that you pictured on the screen that give you power, make you feel whole, creating environments like this only create more situations that you could feel this way. So I'll often encourage you that when you're having a moment where you might be feeling down, to come back to this, picturing a screen in your mind and playing your favorite moments. The energy that we've put into ourselves now brings us to a vibration that we're now able to share some of this power and pass it on to people who might need it. As we picture the joy, love, and completeness that these moments have given to us, we want to share those feelings and those emotions with others. I know there are many people in our group that have recently shared needing prayers. And Susan's mother-in-law. I know that Thomas's daughter's, the church that she works at just burned down as well. There are many, many things going on in the world around us that could rattle us. But this is a time to rally around those people and give them the energy and the support that they need, while we are in a vibration that we're willing to share with others. As we picture our friends and our family that need support, we picture a white light around our bodies, being able to grow and grow until it is a giant orb that we then can put those people in there with us as well. Giving them a bath of white light, pushing any negativity out of their minds, their bodies, their souls. This powerful gift of energy can be passed on to many people. As we watch this light grow, the people around us become higher vibrations themselves, and they too have the ability to pull others into this giant orb. Watching this group get bigger, picturing everyone with our group and their own little tiny groups being able to come together as one giant white orb. The energy and vibrations of each one of us in this moment now and listening to us in the future will be able to pass this beautiful energy off to one another for many moments to come. Picturing that white light zooming past each person now and engulfing the rest of the world. Sending healing moments, healing vibrations, and healing thoughts to not only people that need it, that we know of, but sending healing vibrations to people that we don't know who also need this energy. Passing along a beautiful gift of positivity. Holding on to the power that we know we can create behind it. Letting you stand in the beautiful energy of helping yourself, helping the people you know, and helping society. As we see the world within this white light, we sense a happiness and a peacefulness. The peacefulness is what has been needed. Living in harmony, supporting one another, all starting with each one of us, knowing that we are here for the bigger picture, knowing that we can make a difference, and putting energy behind it. as we picture everything that we love within that white light, within the bounds of earth. Spreading love, peace, and harmony. Thank you all so much. Namaste. So awesome. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
really, really great. Thank you so much. I absolutely love doing these level ups. It's so cool.
That was a great way to just, I don't know, I really felt that meditation and just that energy. I think I really needed that. So I hope it was good for other people too.
Yeah, definitely. I think that we are in such a little bit of a shaky time, and the news has been a little just like disorienting, that I think to have these moments that we could bring it back to us and pass on some positive vibrations to the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
We got a
you.
couple other comments in here that I want to grab.
Let's see.
Oh, Chiron and Taurus in the 5th at 24, opposite Jupiter and Scorpio at 26. Okay, so having to balance the 5th and the 11th house, really. So that's a lot of balance between like your hopes and dreams and your community, as well as what you enjoy yourself. Chiron can definitely show healing around even like romance, when you're talking about in the 5th house as well. Chiron being a wounded healer of your leisure time, really. Yeah.
So using that this week about
About the
Me too.
scientist. Yeah,
Me too.
totally. Yeah, if anybody didn't catch that, fail like a scientist. They get all excited about failure because it means there's a problem to solve. Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for being here, and we'll catch you soon on the 4th.
Absolutely. Can't wait to do it
Yeah.
again, guys. Thanks so much.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.